This is Thibodeau, Louisiana, and this is November the 18th, 1991. I'm speaking with the descendants of Richard Dalton Williams, the Irish poet and patriot who's buried here in St. Joseph's Cemetery. They were nice enough to come down here and talk to me about their remembrances of their ancestor. And right now, this is Mr. Dalton Williams, the fourth Dalton Williams.
And laugh.
And I'm sitting here with Barbara and her husband,
Emmett.
He found out who I was. He looked me up. In speaking about my father, Donald, he remembered him when Donald was 14 years old. He was riding on a front cattle catcher on a Patriot streetcar, running from Broadway toward the Loyola gym to play basketball. And he got hit in the head by a brick that was thrown by an oncoming truck. He fell down. The streetcar rolled over his foot. He lost his leg midway up to his knee. And Father O'Brien, in recounting that, acted as though my father had done this just out of spite to his family. That was his attitude.
Well, the version of it that he believed was that he was jumping from one streetcar to the other.
Yeah, the story was out that he was jumping from one streetcar to another.
He did raise enough cane as it was, but he didn't do things like that. And his name was Donald? It was Donald. And he was Richard Williams.
No, he was Donald C. Evidently, his father, Richard Dalton Williams II, had an affinity for New Orleans. He named Donald Crescent. That's the city that is known as the Crescent City. And he named another daughter Nola.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but there was a Richard III who died
in the yellow fever epidemic. Flu epidemic
following World War I.
Yeah, World War I.
The brother of your father?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was evidently the brilliant one in the family, the perfect son, all these kinds of things. He was in his 20s and he was engaged to be married, and nearly everybody in the family got flu, but he died. All the old people survived. That's too bad. He never had married. He never married.
Didn't you tell me that there was some pub or something called the Crescent that he was...
Yeah, I meant to tell you that. There was, I don't know whether it was in Dublin, I found out that in Ireland, one of the revolutionary spots during the first revolution was a pub named the Crescent.
Well, he named that after a bar?
It may have been named after.
It's a real drinker.
Oh my goodness! But he was the grandson, no, the son.
You don't think
My dad
Mary
was grandson?
You think Aunt Mary was named after Mary's Tavern and he married?
Now, Mr. Williams, you were an attorney, right? You are an attorney, and you're a graduate of Loyola. Mm-hmm. And you went to a Jesuit school, as did your...
My high school, as did my father, my sister, my aunt.
The whole family.
The whole family went to the Jesuits.
When I grew up, nobody questioned whether I was going to go to college or what college I was going to. I was going to go to high school, and then I was going to go to Loyola.
Dad went to the old Jesuit school on Balloon Street.
That's right.
I think they tore that
where
down.
The church
where the Fairmont, it's where the Fairmont kept building. That church was always there.
The church was
No, that church was rebuilt. It was damaged when they built the Fairmont kept building.
Mm-hmm.
And they collected on insurance. And they rebuilt it exactly the same. I think a lot of the old original, the pews and everything original.
Oh, materials.
But that church was designed by... a Jesuit architect. There's another one that has the same Moorish architecture in Texas. I think Fred saw it. I forget the architect's name.
To the White Soul Church. Was that what one in Galveston?
Yeah, I think that's it.
We went to the graveside and took pictures, and saw where he was buried. And there were iron crosses around his monument, and he probably would have suffered the same fate had it not been for the Irish regiment who came down during the Civil War and put up a monument to him, because his wife and children had to go back to New Orleans to live. Did they leave immediately after he died? Yes, they did, evidently, because they were already gone. he died in July, and I think the monument was put up in September.
You see, I think only the two children arrived in New Orleans, so I don't think Elizabeth was alive at that point. And I know that there had been a baby who had died earlier.
Well, in the article in the Guyan Academy account of his death, it said that his salary was paid to his wife, his widowed wife and orphaned children.
Yes.
But one of his fellow professors took over the job for him and took over both their duties. Gave salary to the wife.
His salary. She went to New Orleans and became a teacher and a principal in New Orleans then.
What school did she teach at? Do you know?
One of the McDonald's.
Where's the order?
I don't think so. Oh, wait. It's in one of those clippings that I had brought for you.
It's a school that doesn't exist anymore.
I know the school building. It's a.
Have you read the book Uptown, Downtown by some?
No, I want to read that one.
We had a copy of it, and I think I gave it to a friend of mine who was from New Orleans. All the traditions of families.
Well, Emmett and I joke about it every once in a while. Something hits us, it's very local to one part of town.
And also,
you all eat red beans or white beans, or white beans.
Oh.
No, but don't you eat
we
more?
We grew up more with white beans.
That's what I was saying, because I was with a friend of mine, we were in a barber shop, and a guy asked the barber, he says, why you all eat white beans instead of red beans here? He said, because we can spot the roaches. I'll never forget that. I love it.